Banks, and he's our testing cat for the dogs, to make sure the dog gets along with cats also. But if we get an aggressive dog, we have at times, if there's no way that we can put this dog out with good conscience, we would have to put the dog down.
Put it down, yeah. Although you do have a strict no kill on
we
normal
do.
dogs.
Right.
Of course, a sick dog, it's a different game. And
right.
You might say that a mean dog is very rare, but is a sick dog, probably.
Right.
And has been horribly abused, no doubt, because this is the result of generally abuse. I had a dog, I had a neighbor, I should say, with a dog, a Pekingese. And down the street was another neighbor with a Pekingese. And within the same week, they bit a thumb off and a nose off.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
And they still love their dogs, you know, but you never know what the dog's going to do. We got a couple of phone calls. Shall we take a phone call?
Sure.
Okay, good morning, caller. Thank you for waiting.
Good morning. I was wondering if your guest could comment on whether to crate or not to crate.
I don't even know what crate is. What's that?
Okay, a crate would be a metal or a plastic with a metal door, which you would put your dog into. Sometimes for the dog's own good, sometimes for your home or such.
Yeah.
It may be a good idea. Other than that, sometimes they just want to be with you, and that will cause anxiety. It depends on if you're at work during the course of the day and you're trying to keep the dog safe, trying to keep your house safe, or where did I stop here? I lost my train of thought.
We got an interruption. Senior moment.
Yes, definitely.
Crating, we're on a crating.
Yes, so crating, yes, it is good for training purposes, especially if the dog isn't housebroken or such. So, yes, it's, it has its good points and its bad points. I guess it's up to the individual.
Is there a rule of thumb for how long you can keep a dog in a crate?
I wouldn't go any longer than an 7-8 hour day, because then it's that's just pretty cruel for a dog at that point. You have to make sure it has food and water and toys and chewy bones and things to keep it occupied while it's in there. But I think the average work day would just be a little bit too much if someone didn't come home at lunch or so and at different times and let the dog outside.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're
welcome. Thank you, caller. Send me a stamp envelope. I got a $5 gift certificate for you from the Lakeview, which has a salad bar that never dies. Both of them. They have 2 restaurants there. The docks. Speaking of the docks. Okay, now, who's this guy here you're petting with? Now, what a cute-looking little dog. Very unusual-looking dog.
This is Toto. Toto's about a year old. And Toto came from down south. He was in a high-kill shelter. And each week we have, it's usually Sundays, Saturdays, and Wednesdays. There are some very devoted people out there that are transporters. And each one takes an hour leg, and they could be transported all the way from Indiana, all the way up here, from Ohio, from Washington. We get quite a few of the dogs that way. And so these transporters find which ones are on death row and try to put as many in their cars as they can to get them up to the shelters. We drive them to Rochester. There's a shelter up there. We take some of them at NCCR. So they are very devoted people that do this every week.
Yeah, that's a wonderful sort of story. Most shelters do have to kill the dogs at some point.
Yes.
If they're not adopted. And cats, too. Yes. I hear there's over 300 million pets who die every year because of this. Which is a horror story, really. And, of course, God help those people that just keep them going, the cat people here in Westfield and your crowd.
Right.
The North Chautauqua. What is it? I keep forgetting it.
Northern Chautauqua.
Northern.
Rescue. Right.
Northern Chautauqua.
We have another dog out in the hallway also that has an interesting story.
Canine Rescue. And this is really a rescue.
Yes, it is.
Now, it's too bad when you get a dog you can't take in, isn't it? It must break your heart, really.
It does. We also get strays. that we take in.
Okay, now, here's another one coming in.
Okay.
We got Elaine with him. With her, right?
Okay.
Say hello. Take a bow anyway.
Here, come here, sweetheart.
What's your last name, Lorraine? Okay, there you go. We have, now, talk to us about the dog.
This is Maddie.
Maddie.
And Maddie, here we go.
She's
We're going to put
overly,
Toto down.
wonderfully loving dog.
Come here. Come here, Maddie. Come here, honey. Maddie is what we call a Fido dog.
Now, what's a Fido?
A Fido dog is raised by inmates.
Oh.
They are stray dogs. They go into the jails, and there are certain inmates that will train the dogs and get them ready for adoption. And if I'm not mistaken, Maddie here came from Indiana, an Indiana facility. So she is our third Fido dog. We just started getting these dogs in, and they're wonderful because they are, you know, very trained, very well. They listen very well. Huh? Yes, you do.
They're full of kisses.
Yes, they are. And you know, it's good for the dog and it's good for the inmates. We have heard from the inmates that, you know, this is the first thing that they've actually cared about or had responsibility for. So it's good for, you know, both of them.
How long do they have the average dog there at the prison?
I'd say about 6 months.
6 months, and then they get another one after that one,
Yes.
probably.
Yes.
And what's a Fido? What's this Fido stand for?
I'm really not sure.
Just-
I was trying to figure it out on the way here. I think the I is inmates and the D is dog, but I'm not sure where it goes from there.
Fido, well, whatever. But Fido, after all, is a popular dog name. It used to be anyway, I guess.
Yes.
And
Come on, baby.
How old is
How old is Maddie Mo? Do you remember? I think she's about 2. Yeah,
About
she
2,
seems
huh?
about 2. She's a youngster.
Yeah, the young
Very
kid.
nice white teeth, yes, and
Yeah.
loves to kiss.
And how long do they live, dogs?
The larger breeds, about 12 years we can see out of them, and the younger breeds we've seen up to 17, 19 years.
So the smaller they are, the longer they live. Essentially, it's
Basically, yes.
all right, good enough. We're here with Mo and Lynnmarie, who are telling us a little bit about the dogs they have. Now, this is just a small sampling. You have quite a few dogs, right? Yeah. And each one of them is a different special guy, or gal, I guess. And it's easy to get them. You just come in, sign up, and promise not to hurt them, and
fill out an application.
yeah, and you feed them. Okay, I got another caller. You want to take a call? You want to? Okay, caller. Good morning. Thank you for waiting.
Good morning.
What's up?
And it is a good morning and a joy today, because from what I just saw on the news a short while ago, we're in for some, let me see, rain, right through Labor Day.
Well, let me tell you something. That the
Memorial
world
Day.
is supposed to end today, so you won't have to worry about that tomorrow.
Yeah, but you see, it's supposed to start at 6 o'clock in each time zone, and there's a little problem. There's some time zones that are way behind schedule.
Yeah, I know.
It hasn't happened yet. Now, we're supposed to be 6 o'clock p.m.
Right, it's supposed to start in New Zealand or something, or Australia.
Yes, and apparently it hasn't.
It hasn't hit yet.
Right, they're having a little. Maybe they made a mistake, and instead of each time zone, it's going to be 6 o'clock.
Well, no, they told
Our
me.
time
I saw that they've got it very meticulously and carefully mapped out.
Yeah, but this is the same guy that had it mapped out before, and then said later he made a slight error. So perhaps.
But he's got his math right. He said now.
Well, perhaps he's made another little error. Who knows? You know.
Well, if the world ends today, I'm going to be very unhappy because I have a lot of things on the program. I just planted my tuberous begonias, and they're just underway now.
Well, maybe the world will end for us, but there'll still be creatures that will enjoy your tuberous begonias in the years to come. It won't be us, but it'll be something. Anyhow, I do have a question for your guest.
Okay, which ones, the dogs or the people?
The dog one. The dog. This is kind of an opinion thing, and it's a little off the track, but
okay, you're gonna talk about cats.
No. It's always bothered me, though. I had a dog, a beloved dog, and he got sick around Thanksgiving, and I thought that perhaps the neighbor had given him a bone or something, because she often fed him, and he loved her, of course. and he started coughing. So I ended up taking my dog to the vet, and it ended up the dog had cancer.
Oh, dear.
And it was incurable. And so the decision was made to put the dog down. I stayed right there with the dog, and he went to sleep, and then he was gone. And it was very peaceful. It was very good, and he didn't suffer any pain. It didn't cost a fortune to try to keep him alive for 2 weeks or whatever. Why is it that we allow our animals to have this luxury, and yet we do not allow ourselves this luxury?
You mean we're not allowed to commit suicide legally?
It isn't even the same as committing suicide. You have a terminal
Well, no, if you're
disease.
terminal, right.
You're going to die. There's no question. It isn't
well, we're all going to die.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And it's most of our health care that we are screaming and yelling about costs. A lot of them, I can't remember what percentages, but it's more than 50%, and I can't remember exactly how much it is, come in the last 2 months of a person's life when they're dying, but yet we seem to think we have to keep everybody alive no matter what at the cost of billions of dollars.
Well, of course.
For no reason.
For the insurance, that's a good reason.
Well, it isn't a good reason when you're in a nursing home and
they want the money.
Your assets are all gone. So the nursing home, which means the government is not going to get any money from it anyways. It's a losing proposition, and it's costing the taxpayers a lot. And I'm not saying it's for everybody, but it should be a choice that you get to make.
Yeah, well, without having to travel all the way to Colorado, right?
Well, I thought it was Oregon, but yes.
Wherever it is, yeah.
Yeah. I have a big problem with that, and I can't understand why we think it's great for our animals.
Well, let's let our people here answer that one. You're responsible for this. Somebody, tell us. Why is it you can put a dog away, but you can't put yourself away when you're going to die?
That is a very personal decision, and I won't even go there.
So you're afraid to address that question?
Well, everybody thinks differently about it, so
And that's my point exactly. I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm saying, why can I not make my personal decision to do this if I want to? And I'm not going to say you have to do this. I'm just saying I think that I should have the right to make this decision regardless. It has nothing to do with your religion, maybe. It has to do with what I think for myself. And I'm not asking you to do something that you don't want to do. It just, especially when I was there with my dog, and I know what would have happened to my dog had I chosen to keep him alive until...
he died of pain.
Yes. Right. He was already in pain, and it was so peaceful. I was right there with him, and for me, that would be my choice if I found that I was under.
Well, there is one thought, and that is there's no way they can stop you from offing yourself. We'll put it that way, you know. When you decided the time is right and you're in trouble and the agonies begin, you can go down and get your 60 sleeping pills just like anybody else. That's not a laughing matter, I guess, but it's something that people are concerned about. You know, they can arrest you and put you in jail for trying to kill yourself when you're dying, and then they got to pay your medical bills, right?
Mercy killing also.
Yeah. Also, if you help someone out, you say, here's the pills, kid. You can go to jail for 20 years or life.
Exactly, and that's my point. Besides which, it wasn't even pills with my dog. It was a shot, which he immediately went to sleep from. I mean, and then the lethal dose was introduced after that. But the dog was sleeping. There was, no pain for the dog or anything. It was, anyways. I guess the guest has answered the question as well as she.
Well, not speak on that question.
Yes, exactly.
Did you want to? I'm being very rude here. Lynnmarie, did you want to make a contribution?
Well, I understand, where you're coming from, because you would imagine, yes, we can do it for our beloved animals, but we can't do it for our beloved mom, dad, grandmother, grandfather.
I don't want to even do it for them. I want everybody to make their own decision.
Right. And it's just, you know, the way the world is today, that's their decision, and, you know, they